Imagine walking through a forest and finding a moose, completely wasted, stumbling around, slurring its movements, stuck in a tree because it ate too many fermented apples. It sounds like a cartoon, but it's real. And it's not just moose. All across the animal kingdom, creatures are getting high, getting drunk, and in some cases, deliberately seeking out substances that mess with their brains. We like to think of drug use as a uniquely human problem, a symptom of our complicated minds, our stress, our boredom. But nature begs to differ, because the truth is, animals have been getting intoxicated for millions of years, long before the first human ever brewed beer or smoked anything. So today, the question is simple and ridiculous. Which animals use drugs? And the deeper, weirder question underneath it. Do animals get high by accident, or do some of them actually do it on purpose? Let's start with the most common way animals get intoxicated: alcohol.
And no, they're not sneaking into bars. They're eating fruit. Here's something most people don't realize. Alcohol exists in nature all the time. When fruit ripens and then begins to rot, the sugars inside ferment. Wild yeast eats those sugars and produces ethanol, the exact same alcohol that's in beer and wine. So a tree full of overripe fruit is essentially a tree full of natural booze, and animals eat it. A lot of it. There are countless reports of animals getting drunk on fermented fruit. Birds eating fermented berries have been seen flying into windows, falling off branches, and generally behaving like they've had a few too many. In some places, so many birds get intoxicated during certain seasons that people have described them as falling out of the sky. Then there's the famous case of elephants and marula fruit in Africa. For years, there have been stories of elephants getting drunk off fermented marula fruit on the ground, staggering around in a stupor. Now, scientists actually debate this one. Some argue an elephant would need to eat an enormous amount to truly get drunk. But the broader point stands. Large mammals absolutely consume fermenting fruit, and the effects of alcohol on animals are very real. There's even an animal that drinks alcohol regularly and handles it like a champion: the pen-tailed treeshrew. This tiny creature feeds on the fermented nectar of a particular palm flower, which contains a surprisingly high alcohol content. It consumes the equivalent of several alcoholic drinks every single night, and somehow shows no signs of being drunk. It's one of nature's most impressive drinkers, casually sipping alcohol every night without ever getting a hangover. But alcohol is just the beginning, because some animals go way beyond accidentally eating fermented fruit. Some of them actively seek out substances to alter their minds. Let's talk about cats. If you've ever given a cat catnip, you've watched a small, casual drug experience unfold in your living room. Catnip contains a compound called nipetolactone, which binds to receptors in a cat's nose and triggers a response in the brain. The result is a cat that rolls around, rubs its face on everything, zones out, and acts, frankly, intoxicated. It's harmless and temporary, but it is unmistakably a high. And the cat often comes back for more. And big cats do their own version of this. Jaguars in the Amazon have been observed seeking out and chewing the roots and bark of a vine called ayahuasca, the same plant humans use to brew a powerful hallucinogenic drink. After consuming it, jaguars behave strangely, rolling around, acting playful and disoriented, in a way that strongly suggests they're experiencing some kind of altered state. Some researchers think the jaguars might do it to sharpen their senses for hunting. Others think they might just like how it feels. Then there are dolphins, and this one is genuinely shocking. Dolphins have been filmed deliberately playing with pufferfish. Now, pufferfish produce a potent toxin, one that's deadly in large doses. But in small amounts, that toxin appears to have a narcotic effect, and dolphins seem to know this. They gently pass a pufferfish between members of the group, each one carefully nibbling it, releasing tiny amounts of the toxin, and then float around afterward in what looks like a trance-like, blissed-out state, hovering near the surface, mesmerized by their own reflections. They're not eating the pufferfish. They're using it. Carefully. Deliberately. Like
passing something around at a party. If that's accurate, it means dolphins have figured out a controlled dose. They take just enough to feel the effect without dying. That's not random. That's an animal understanding cause and effect with a dangerous substance. Reindeer get in on it too, in one of the strangest examples in nature. In the Arctic, reindeer have been observed seeking out and eating a specific mushroom, the iconic red and white fly agaric, which is hallucinogenic. After eating it, the reindeer behave erratically, twitching, running about, and acting disoriented. And here's the truly bizarre part. There are accounts of humans in those regions drinking the urine of reindeer that had eaten the mushrooms, because the hallucinogenic compounds pass through the animal in a still active but slightly safer form. So the reindeer get high, and then, historically, people got high off the reindeer. Even insects do it. Some have been observed consuming fermented or psychoactive substances. There are studies showing that bees exposed to certain chemicals, including caffeine and alcohol, change their behavior in measurable ways. Fruit flies have been used in studies on addiction because they too will consume alcohol, and stressed fruit flies actually prefer it. A tiny insect, self-medicating with booze when life gets hard, sounds uncomfortably familiar. So why does this happen? Why would evolution allow animals to seek out things that intoxicate them, sometimes at real risk to their lives? There are a few theories. The first is simple. It's often just an accident of diet. Animals evolved to eat fruit and nectar, and sometimes that food is fermented or contains mild psychoactive compounds. The buzz is a side effect, not the goal. But the second theory is more interesting. Some scientists believe certain animals genuinely seek out these experiences. Just like humans, they may be motivated by curiosity, pleasure, stress relief, or even boredom. An animal in a dull environment or under social pressure might be drawn to something that changes how it feels, for the same fundamental reasons we are. And that's the thought that makes this whole topic land differently. We tend to see drug use as proof of how broken or complicated humans are. But maybe it's not uniquely human at all. Maybe the desire to occasionally escape your own head, to feel something different, to chase a pleasant sensation is just part of having a brain complex enough to feel anything in the first place. The dolphin passing a pufferfish, the jaguar chewing a vine, the bird drunk on berries, and the human pouring a glass of wine after a long day may all be expressions of the same ancient impulse. The animals aren't copying us, and we're not special. We're just one more creature on a very old planet, occasionally looking for a way to feel a little different. Nature, it turns out, has been getting high the entire time.